You have some kind of coverage for roadside assistance, right? Either through your auto insurance or a plan like AAA. Because of that, some people think they'll never need an emergency kit in their car until it's too late. Here's a trivia question for you. How many roadside breakdowns happen yearly in the US? 3 million, 19.5 million, or 69 million? How many of you said 19.5 million? Ooh, sorry. It's actually more than 69 million. That's one breakdown every 5 seconds. What about drivers in your household, your spouse, your son or daughter? Do they have the tools they need to get home safely after a breakdown? Let me show you why my kit never leaves my vehicle. If you're applying the P.A.C.E plan, roadside assistance may be your primary plan to get you back on the road. Calling a family member or a friend for help could be your alternate or contingency plans. If those fail, what's your emergency plan? Today I'll walk you through building a complete vehicle emergency kit. Gear that can save you time and potentially save your life in a roadside emergency. The average roadside assistance response time in the United States is 30 to 60 minutes. That's if you're not in a rural area. It could be several hours. That's a long time to wait if you're stranded or stuck in unsafe conditions. Maybe you'll choose this kit as your primary plan. It is an option. Why would you need a vehicle emergency kit? When your battery dies, you need a jump starter. When you run out of fuel, you need a safe way to transfer gas. When you and your family are stranded on the roadside at night, you need visibility and warning tools. Breakdowns happen to people every day, and sometimes in severe weather. And recently we've seen blocked roads, riots, and vehicles being surrounded or assaulted. This isn't fear I'm talking about, it's preparation. Before building your kit, ask yourself these questions. What's most likely to happen where I drive? What items would I need if I was alone and help was far away? In other words, what tools and repair items do I need to keep in my vehicle? 2 things before we jump in and talk about this kit. At the end of this video, I'll show you how to download the checklist to help you start or even beef up your kit if you already have one. Start by going through and gathering some of the tools you already own. Then after you've identified the tools that you still need, you can create a plan to acquire those. I've put some resource links in the checklist for you. The other thing is, this vehicle emergency kit is just one of several modules that you might keep in your vehicle. And I don't expect everyone to carry the same mods I do. What you keep at the ready is up to you, but I'll share with you some of the modules in my truck loadout. Here's a list so you can see what I mean. I keep a community emergency response bag in my truck, a search and rescue bag, an active shooter incident bag, a get home bag, towing equipment, a vehicle recovery kit, and a vehicle emergency kit. Keeping these things as organized as possible is going to help you keep track of what all you have in your vehicle, especially if you offer help to someone. You don't want to offer help to someone and then come up empty-handed. To keep some order to this kit, I've arranged the items into 4 groups. Items that are strategically placed in the cab of the truck, roadside repair and safety items, tools, and a vehicle recovery kit. Let's start with the cab. Okay, starting with what I keep right nearby in the vehicle. In the vehicle door panel is a pair of gloves and a first aid kit. I keep an ankle IFAK in the door for convenient access. That is by Warrior Poet Society. Moving over to the console, these level 2 and level 3 EDC tool pouches are either here in this part of the console or in my work bag when I leave the vehicle. Inside this console, got not much in the way of emergency other than some air protection, an extra pair of glasses. Actually, I do have this is a glass breaker, a seatbelt cutter, and a folding knife. This is the SOG Escape. In the console safe, I keep a mix of defensive items, a full-size secondary firearm, along with additional magazines. And my primary weapon is in the back seat. You know, the longer version with the 16-inch barrel. The extra magazines loaded with 5.56 are in the active shooter incident bag. For a non-lethal option, I also carry a palm pepper spray here in the console safe. Okay, let's move over to the other side. This is probably the same for you. My glove box isn't just for gloves. Instead, I keep other essentials that I might need quickly or that I use more often. A rechargeable flashlight. This is the Nebo Slide King 2K. Here I have a multi-tool. This is the SOG Power Access Deluxe with a set of bits in there since it has a driver on it. And this is another SOG Escape, which is the glass breaker, seatbelt cutter, and folding knife. I've got one of these in every door. This one just happens to be in the glove box. In the bottom part, I have a couple of tire pressure gauges. Under the back seat, I keep cordage and a tarp, ratchet straps and bungees for securing loads or building a shelter. I like these XRT rope lock tie downs to secure items in a trailer or low down in the truck bed. Here's a tip for you for ratchet straps. I use these hair elastics because they're easier to put on than the Ranger bands that I used to use, and they last longer. On the other side, I store tools that I want with me year-round. I'll lay these out for you to see. So under the seat, I have nitrile gloves for clean handling of greasy parts, a hatchet and saw that I can use to clear downed trees in the road, and a pair of mechanic's work gloves. A couple of first aid kits. There's actually a couple more on the other side of the seat that you might have seen. I keep medical supplies in these first aid kits, along with several tourniquets. There's it's a Leatherman Raptor for shears. Fire kit. There are additional tools, including a fire kit, in the level 2 and level 3 EDC kits in that front console. This GoView monocular that I have been testing, a collapsible lantern, and a couple of emergency blankets. This is an 80% wool blend blanket from My Medic. As you know, wool blankets are effective whether they're wet or dry, so in an emergency, these are really useful. And I got a half a dozen of the little stuff sacks from Sportsman's Guide. I'll leave a link for all of these. This is a Dickies brand hooded rain jacket in case I have a repair I need to do in the rain. I've used these tools quite a bit over the years because they're always in my truck. I have this in addition to the tool roll that has the full-size tools. I think I'll do a video just for this little tool bag, and once I do, I'll put a card in the corner to link to that video. Next is roadside repair and safety. A battery booster pack lets you jump your car without needing another vehicle. Just clamp it to the battery terminals, start the engine, and you're back on the road in minutes. This is fast and safe and way more convenient than waiting for help. There are quite a few models of these that double as phone chargers and flashlights. This small battery pack is always in my truck. When we go to the ranch, I throw in this Stanley jump box in case we need more amps, and we have a lot of other vehicles to work with. Jumper cables require another vehicle to connect with, but they're affordable enough that every car should have a pair. The lower the gauge, the thicker the wire, and the more amperage they'll transfer. If you can get close enough to get the cars together, 10 to 12 footers will work. 30 footers take up more space, and I think the wire gauges run from 0 gauge to 12 gauge, or maybe it's 1 to 12. My recommendation is 4 gauge wires and 20 feet in length. That gives you a good amount of reach and amperage flow for just about anything. This is a fuel siphon pump and a shaker pump. These make pretty fast work of transferring fuel from a can into your vehicle. You can leave the gas can in the truck bed and just transfer it from there. It just has to be a little higher than where you insert it into the gas tank. Do you want an effective way to get your spouse involved with this? I'm serious, I do this all the time. Hit share, send the video to your spouse, then when they ask you why you shared it with them, you can discuss improving their vehicle emergency kit. That serves as a reminder for you and a great way to bring up the conversation. After you share it, please like and subscribe so that you're notified of future downloadable checklists and resources. Okay, moving specifically to tire repair. Tires are the #1 cause of roadside breakdowns, which is why I never travel without a solid tire repair kit. I keep multiple tire pressure gauges, 1 or 2 in the glove box, and a backup in my tire kit. This way I'll never be without one that works accurately. If you pick up a nail or a screw, a plug kit lets you patch it quickly, and a portable inflator will get you rolling again in no time. In case you choose to use the spare tire, make sure in advance that you've got a jack that fits your vehicle, a breaker bar, and the right impact socket to handle stubborn lug nuts. Also be aware that if you have a wheel cover over the lug nuts, you'll probably need a Torx bit to remove that cover. And most importantly, inspect your spare tire periodically so that you know it's in good condition and ready to use. With the right gear, a flat tire won't leave you stranded. In the event of a roadside emergency, make safety a priority. Road flares and warning triangles make sure that other drivers can see you. You can carry a high-vis vest, safety glasses, and gloves to protect yourself while you're working. For bad weather, keep a cap, beanie, and rain jacket to keep dry. A wool blanket is a good idea for those in the vehicle if they need it. If you're stranded in your vehicle for a long period, you may also need multiple emergency blankets and emergency sleeping bags, extra lighting and spare batteries, just like the pop-up lanterns that I have under the back seat. An ABC-rated fire extinguisher gives you the ability to extinguish small engine fires before they get out of hand. Not every roadside problem is dramatic. Sometimes it's just a loose bolt, a jammed latch, or something that needs a quick fix. That's why I keep a small set of various tools in the truck. I recently moved my tools out of a traditional tool bag and into this Roaring Fire tool roll. Let's go through the tools and then I'll talk a bit more about the tool roll. To cover most of the basic repairs, you'll want things like an adjustable wrench, pliers, and screwdrivers. Here I have an adjustable wrench, channel lock and cobra pliers, needle nose pliers, lineman's pliers, vice grips, standard slip joint pliers, and fencing pliers. Also a full-size Phillips and flathead screwdriver and a file. To cover a few other possible needs, I included a ratcheting screwdriver that has a set of slotted Phillips, hex, and Torx bits, and some battery terminal wrenches. On the other side of the roll, in this first pouch, I have a couple pair of work gloves and a handful of nitrile gloves. In the second pouch, I keep a fixed blade knife. This is a CRKT Ramadi in Coyote Tan with G10 scales. I picked this one up last year at Blade Show West. No one has ever said they wish they hadn't had their fixed blade knife with them. I guarantee it. A multi-tool is handy for everyday tasks. This is also a SOG Power Access Deluxe. And a pry bar. In the third pouch, I have duct tape, Torx wrenches, and Allen wrenches in standard and metric. I have a couple of these Night Eyes brand Figure 9 carabiners to use with 550 cord. In the fourth pouch, zip ties, a Silcock key, a pencil sharpener, and another tire pressure gauge. With things like tape, WD-40, and a compact toolkit, you've got options for those unexpected little problems that would otherwise throw a wrench in your plans. Okay, back to the tool roll. It's the Roaring Fire Gear Pack Mule. It's a double-sided tool roll. Being double-sided allows you to add more gear. It comes with 4 removable pouches that can be used separately. 2 of the removable pouches have a transparent mesh cover so you can identify your gear faster. Both sides have flap covers to keep your tools or your gear secure, also with 2-way YKK zippers. On the opposite side, there's a fixed pouch. 8 assorted pockets, plus 11 elastic loops to help support these items. It has a water-resistant coating to protect your gear from moisture. Adjustable straps with buckles for securing different load sizes. The tool roll can be carried with the handle or shoulder strap. If you use this with other items, it can be used as a sling bag or a crossbody bag. When gathering tools, keep in mind that it's not about carrying a full workshop, just the right tools to keep you moving. Leave a comment with your suggestions for a tool carrier and your selection of tools. I'd be interested to see that. The Vehicle Recovery Kit isn't a part of the actual emergency kit, but it's worth a mention. Sometimes getting a vehicle stuck creates an emergency, so we'll go ahead and spend a minute on this. If you've ever been stuck, whether it's in the mud, snow, or sand, you know that having some vehicle recovery gear can be the difference between a safe recovery or someone getting injured by a snapped rope or improvised equipment, whether it's an overlanding trip or just a weekend trip in side-by-sides. I carry a Rhino USA Recovery Kit with a tow rope, kinetic ropes, shackles, and a snatch block for tough pulls. Soft shackles and D-rings give me options for different recovery points, and heavy-duty gloves protect my hands. Keep a shovel or an e-tool in your recovery kit. If you don't have a winch, keep a manual cable puller. This one has a limit of 8,000 pounds. Traction boards are also a good idea for mud, snow, and sand, which can help you get a vehicle moving without requiring a tow. A vehicle emergency kit isn't about carrying every tool you own. It's about having the right gear when you need it most. From tire repair to recovery, from safety gear to general tools, every piece adds up to one thing: peace of mind. Setbacks and breakdowns happen to everyone, but being prepared means you stay in control. Build your kit, keep it ready, and you'll never be caught off guard on the road. If you got something out of this video, please like it and share it with a friend. To download the printable checklist, go to altasurvival.com and then to the Downloads tab. Be vigilant and stay ready. To learn more about the winter vehicle mods, click here.